welcome back to the Daughter Arise YouTube channel. Hope that you are all well today. I am doing absolutely fantastic, been doing some really positive, productive things with my time. I've got fantastic projects that are coming up that I will share with you soon. I'm really excited about 2017. I think this year is going to be absolutely an amazing year and I can't wait to see what unfolds. Hope that you're doing well. And you know, today I really wanted to talk to you about encouragement. I wanted to encourage you today. I thought about it this week because I was up King's Road in Chelsea, which is one of my favourite places to go. And for those of you who have read my book, you would know that I was in a mental health clinic or hospital called the Chartered Chelsea Clinic, and it was based off of King's Road. And I just decided to take a walk up there a few days ago, and I was really kind of blown away really by how far that, you know, God has brought me from, really, because back in that time I didn't think I was going to get through the issues that I had. And I wanted to really talk about that and share with you like some of that, because I know for a lot of you out there who have been through sexual abuse or abuse in general, and are going through so many things, disorders, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem and confidence, that you feel that you'll never be able to be the person that you want to be, and you feel trapped by the things that you've been through. I just really want to encourage you that life does get better. So I'm going to share a bit with you about my story. You know that I went through sexual abuse and I had so many issues in the aftermath of going through those things. And when I was 22 years old, I had a nervous breakdown. And how that really affected me was I just couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I thought I was hearing voices, I was agitated very quickly, I cried all the time. I had a problem with self-harm, and that's something, again, I was sharing in another video. I started self-harming when I was in care, and I started when I was about 14 years old. And I was self-harming at that time, even after care. So when I was 22 and I was going through this breakdown, I was in so much internal pain inside that I was just doing these things. I was cutting myself and just being really destructive, and I was just broken. I think life had really got to me, and I just felt there was no hope. I was mother to a young daughter at the time, and you know, I really love my daughter, but I just felt that I could not look after her. I felt that I was not good enough for her, to give her the best that I could. I felt ashamed because of all my problems. So it happened that I was admitted to this hospital, and I just felt really broken. I was really down. I was put on medication, and each day I just didn't have the strength to do anything. But one thing that's really interesting though is that somebody had bought me like a kind of little like a little book where I could write, like a journal where I could write my thoughts and feelings in when they came to visit me. And to be honest with you, that's another thing that I realised, that when you hit rock bottom, there's very few people that will be there for you. And this person, she was one of my she was an ex-foster carer actually, who bought me this journal, and she came to visit me. And it's interesting that that was the one thing that I found that I could do each day, was write a little bit in this journal. And I didn't write much, just 1 or 2 sentences about things that I'd been through, things that I was experiencing, how I was feeling. But you know, each day it was a struggle even to go to some of the activities that they had on, the support group. At most I could do was just lie down. They had this room when it had like kind of therapeutic pictures and things like that, and that was the most I could do, was to take a cushion and lie down in this room. Most days I just spent drugged up on medication, and I was on 3 different types of medication, and they had like really bad side effects. And reflecting on my time in there, I mean, going there now, it was just really I felt kind of tearful really, because I remember looking through. I was in a room on the top floor, and the windows had bars on them, you know. And I remember looking through those bars, and I could see Waterstone's bookshop opposite on King's Road, and I remember just thinking to myself, I just I just felt like I was just at rock bottom, and that there was no hope for me, that my life would never get better, that I would never be the person that I wanted to be. I didn't love myself. I didn't value myself. Oh, I didn't even like myself, and I just thought that my life was finished, that it was over. But here I am today talking to you, 18 years later, and the journey from being in that place, in that room with those bars on the windows, devoid of hope, not feeling I would ever amount to anything, to where I am today is completely, I'm just completely awestruck really by how far I have come. The journey in the 18 years has not been easy. I have had depression, I've had anxiety, and even after I left hospital, that is where I had to start the work of knowing Yvonne and rebuilding, or actually building Yvonne for the first time ever in my life. Up until that point, my identity was based on my past experience of abuse, how I was treated by, how my father had treated me, how ex-partners had treated me. I had no value of myself. I didn't know who Yvonne was. I didn't know what she liked, what she disliked, what she loved, her aspirations. I didn't know anything. And after I left that hospital and I went into psychotherapy, it was the first time I was able to put myself back together. And it's been a long process. As I always say to you in my blog posts, in my videos, that the journey from devastation to restoration is a lifelong journey. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Nothing that is nothing that has been done is going to take one night to fix. And over time, through patience, I have began to understand that, because I want it to be fixed like yesterday. I became frustrated at myself, frustrated at the time it was taking me to just realize things and do things and build all these like internal foundations that are so important for everyday life. But psychotherapy allowed me the time, allowed me the space to be me, to be able to figure out who I was. And the journey has just been so long and hard at times. There's been times that I've wanted to give up. There's been times where I have, had to go back to the doctor, not in more recent times, but before, when I was really suffering still from depression. And the first thing they wanted to do was put me back on anxiety, depression tablets. But I made a point within myself of saying that I will I will find other avenues, whether it is through therapy, counselling, or whatever it is, to get better within myself. And prayer and my faith, God, you guys know already, I love Christ. If it wasn't for him, those foundations for me wouldn't even be here. I decided that I needed to find other avenues to enable me to find hope and to better myself and to encourage myself. I didn't want to go back on depression tablets. That period of my life when I had the breakdown, I didn't want to go back to that, and that was a reminder of that. And I've done a lot of research about depression tablets and everything else. I wanted to find another way to encourage me and to find hope within myself. And I had two breakdowns in my 20s. One was a little bit later, but with that one, it was more a thing of I was just I was a very anxiety-ridden person. I had a lot of angst, a lot of anxiety all the time about life, and always trying to figure things out myself. But the journey that I've taken to be where I am today, I mean, now, I'm an author. I'm about to set up my new empowerment company. I do talks, and I'm about to do things that I've never dreamed that I would ever be able to do. And I believe the things that I'm doing is I'm going to be able to do worldwide. And I never doubt my abilities. It has taken therapy, it has taken knowledge of self, and I've got that through the Bible, through the Word of God, through reading books to do with how abuse had affected my life, books to do with about self-love and confidence and esteem, all these things, and also as well about figuring out what Yvonne wanted. So how I've been able to get encouragement and find hope is through discovering who Yvonne is, discovering my talents. I know that I'm a very good writer. I'm confident when I speak. I'm good at helping people. I'm creative. I know all these things, and all of those things have helped me to be able to know who I am and give me encouragement and hope. Now, I'm not saying I don't have dark times, and I'm saying this to you because I know how hard the journey is. Trust me, I like you, I have been through sexual abuse and been abused in so many other ways. But it is when I just started to try and find encouragement and hope outside of myself. And it does involve, what happens is that what I found is the more kind of self-centered I became, the more kind of the depression became. Because I kept looking inward at my problems, not being able to find solutions. And the more I kept looking at that within myself, is the more depressed. I just became more devoid of hope. And that was really hard. But I have found in looking outside of myself, looking at things that I'm good at, looking at things that I am capable of doing, enhancing my skills, bettering myself, and gaining encouragement from something. For me, that encouragement has come from the Word of God, knowing that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, that even though my mother and father forsaked me, God hasn't forsaken me. So I can take comfort and hope in that. But no matter where you are now in your life, I just want to say to you that life can and will get better. Yes, it will involve you having to have some courage, take risks. I think one of the things I've learned about my journey is that comfort can kill dreams. It can kill ability to stretch and to be challenged. Comfort is somewhere I don't want to be at this moment. But before, that was what I used to cling to, being comfortable, being, not dealing with my issues, not trying to challenge myself to come out of it. All those things, just really kind of kept me where I was. But one of the things I've learned is that if you can step outside yourself and take risks and challenge yourself, you'll be surprised at what you can do. I'm being honest with you. I mean, think about it. I mean, what have you got to lose? You haven't got anything to lose. I had people back at that period in my life when I was in that hospital that told me that, I was useless, I was worthless, I would never amount to anything. They looked forward to my dramas. They looked forward to my problems because it gave them some kind of, some kind of superiority over me, But I love when people underestimate me. I love underestimation because for my entire life, people have underestimated me and underestimated my abilities. I've had people say negative comments to me, but I just let them get on with it because I know what I'm capable of and where I've come from. And I appreciate the journey. I'm not saying that I wish that I'd went through the things I went through. That's not what I'm saying. But I've learned to embrace those things and turn those weaknesses into my strengths. And I want to encourage you because, you can do those things. You can, think about one thing that you can do. One thing that you know that you're good at. One thing that, okay, you may not have used it before, that talent or skill or whatever it is. You may not have used it before, but, you know it's there. I would encourage you to explore that. When I was in that hospital, as I said, I wrote in that journal every day. And I can see clearly back throughout my life where God has shown me that this talent He's given me for writing has always been there. It may have taken me 20 years to figure that out, that I have the power, I have the ability to empower people through my words, through public speaking, through my words, through the words I write, through the things that I create. It took 20 years for that journey. But it started back when I was in Burntwood School. Before I got expelled at 14, my English teacher was always amazed at my poetry and my written work. And there was always this perfectionism thing within me that thought, oh, okay, it could be better. And she said to me, Yvonne, even your rough copy of work is better than most of your classmates' best piece of work. because I like to put effort and excellence into everything I did. And I never forget what that English teacher said to me up until this day. And English at school I always excelled at. Again, when I was in the care system, you know, I, I didn't have much of an education. I'm not gonna lie. I left the care system with one GCSE A plus, A star in English. Again, very good at writing, very good at expressing myself, and hence look where I am today. Everything that I have done has been through taking risks and doing things that I've never been tried before for me, and it has been through fear that I've done it, but I've used that fear and turned it into courage to do stuff. So, think about back to the times where maybe somebody recognized the talent in you, or you recognized it in yourself, and try and build on that and do something with that. Those things are what helps to foster hope. When we do things outside of our situation. Because you know what? When you're in that and you're just sitting in that, and I'm not saying it's easy, because when you have mental health issues, I had mental health issues. I went through anxiety and had disorders and things like that. But, when I kept looking at those things inwards, it didn't really help me. I was always aware that the problems that I had were always there. They were always there. I had to live with them every day. So I don't need to continue to look at them because I'm living with them. But it's when I started to look at things outside of myself that could better me, that could help me, that could give me hope, that's when I became encouraged. So all I want to say to you is that your journey where you have started from is not the journey where you will be. But it's always a decision what you want to do. You can choose either to look outside yourself and try and find other ways to give you that blue sky, that there is hope, or you can stay in the challenges. And you know what? With everything that you want to achieve, what I have learned, with everything that I've achieved so far, there is always options to help us to get there. Sometimes that might mean, finding out information from places where we want to kind of develop our skills. It could be getting someone to support you. But there is always a way around challenges. That's what I have learned. So I want you to take courage from this. The Yvonne that left that mental hospital 18 years ago is not the Yvonne that I am now. And when I stood on King's Road and I looked at that place, because it's not there anymore, they're rebuilding it into something else, I think maybe flats or whatever. But I thought that was so fitting, that the past of that has gone and something new is being rebuilt. That Yvonne that I was then is gone. I don't even recognise her no more. I can relate to her in a way because that is where I've come from, the issues. And that's why I'm able to share with you through Daughter Rise, through the blogs, through everything that I do. But I'm not that Yvonne anymore. A new Yvonne has been rebuilt. God says he has come to create new things. The old has passed and the new has come. And I am a product of that. I won't let the past define me. So take a look at where I have come from. And if God can do it for me, he can do it for you. If I can do it, you can do it. Be encouraged from that. Know that how you started is not where you're going to finish. You can be somewhere completely different if you will take risks and accept challenges and have courage. Everything starts from that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will leave a link in the description box for my website and also my blog posts. I write some blog posts. I write them every month. It's on my Hope in the Future blog, and I write every month on topics around issues and challenges that we face in the aftermath of abuse. And I share my experiences with you in order that you may find hope and encouragement and help to be able to face your challenges. So I'll leave that in the description bar below, and also as well check out my other videos. I talk about different things to do with abuse, news stories to do with things that I may have read or come across. So please check those out and subscribe and subscribe to this channel. I'm new to YouTube, but I'm actually liking it. I'm actually liking doing the YouTube videos. So I appreciate your support. If you could subscribe, like these videos, forward on to anybody that you know that has been through these issues. But the word for you today is to find hope, find encouragement. It can be done. And, you know, I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you in the next video.